What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, ladies? We have another crazy show, and I just want to say happy Monday to you guys. DHS shutdown updates. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on TSA, disrupting travel in this country. We have to talk about that. The Oscars last night. Of course, I don't watch them, but I saw some of the highlights, and of course, these Democrats are stupid, and they had to make it political. Charleston White, I don't know if you know Charleston White, but Charleston White got attacked on stage. All that trash he be talking, I think it kind of caught up to him. But before we talk about any of that, we got to talk about this loser, low-life, anti-American stewhead, Tucker Carlson, and his potential trouble with the CIA. Welcome to the Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tatum Show. Hey, I want to tell you guys about the membership program, and I want to give a special announcement. Scott Jennings is in the house. He did his show right here from the headquarters, and we're going to talk to him in post-show clarity. So we're going to get an exclusive, just laid-back conversation with Scott Jennings and post-show clarity. So if you're a member, make sure you tune in. If you're not a member yet, maybe you should consider being a member. I told you guys we were going to have the best, most expansive membership program on YouTube in history, and it's just only going to get better. We also reached 2,000 plus members, so I told you guys we'll have a contest at the end of that. So what I'm going to do is that every time we hit a milestone, I'll say we could do it once a week for the members. What we'll do is we'll do a trivia question, and if you can answer the trivia question, I think we'll do the first 3 people that answer it correctly, and we'll give away things. You know, this time, when we do our trivia question, I think we're going to do maybe the first 3 people. We're going to give away a $100 gift card. And next, sometimes it could be Shanergy. Sometimes, maybe we'll get a real trivia and give away verdict. We shall see. But we're going to do that for our members. It's just a sign of appreciation for those who are day one, those who really support us and want a little bit more than the free content we put out. Okay? So, with that being said, make sure you join the membership program if you are interested. Let's get to Dummy Carson real quick. Tucker Carlson is a disgrace to America. Tucker Carlson is a disgrace to journalists all around the country. He's not even a real journalist. He's fell off the cliff. I'm telling you guys, and I will say this again, every single person that goes and has Israel derangement syndrome, they tend to go crazy in every other aspect of their lives. Whether it's conspiracies, whether you name it, they losing it. And Tucker is the prime person in this. As big and most expansive as his platform is and was, why is he acting like this? Let me just give you an example. I guess he's potentially in trouble with the CIA. Now I'm gonna tell you this: just like these other influencers that are hoodwinking you, of course they're gonna come out and say these things to become relevant again. Once they look stupid by faking a TSA disaster in Israel, acting as if they had him in the back room strip searching him, and that became a lie. He do nothing to interview idiots every time he put somebody on because they hate Israel. Now he got to be the victim. The CIA is after me. Is it real? Is it true? CIA, DOJ, I never heard anything from them. Could he be making this up? I wouldn't be shocked. Roll the clip.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me.
Before he continues, my question I have for him is, how did you find this out? How did you find this out? All right, roll the clip.
Crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids.
Time out. Shut your lying self up. I'm going to let him finish. I promise you lying. It's funny how he say he's not a foreign acting agent, and neither is AIPAC. But it's funny that you continue to push that every single day of the week, that AIPAC is somehow acting as a foreign agent, which they're not. That's why they're not registered in FARA. Anyway, finish the clip.
So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover,
you know, let me tell y'all something real quick. I swear I'm gonna stop talking, but it's if I wait to the end of the clip, I'm gonna forget it. He said he hasn't taken money from anywhere. He literally got like a $17 or $14 million startup investment into his Tucker Carlson news network. From a person, I guess the person he's a Middle Eastern. He may be an American citizen, but it's still. He's in Doha and Qatar doing speeches on stage. Like, let me tell you how people get around that claim. I've never taken money. Yeah, Tucker Carlson have not taken money, but that does not mean TCN haven't taken money. I want y'all to be very clear about this. Somebody could look at you in the eye and say, I never taken any money, but an organization that you own takes the money. No one in our industry gets paid directly. People do not pay Brandon Tatum. They don't pay me. They pay one of my companies, my entities. They pay the Officer Tatum if I'm doing work for the Officer Tatum or any of these other companies. They pay the company. They don't pay Brandon Tatum. I don't own none of this stuff. I have companies that own the companies, if that makes sense to you. That's how these fools can get away with saying that, even though they know they took money from these foreign governments. Roll the clip.
it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States.
Time out. He going to hell. He going to hell if he don't change his life. This is one of the most manipulative people that I've ever seen in my life. This fool says, it's okay to talk to people. I can talk to anybody. That's not the problem. It's not against the law. Nobody would care if you were just talking to anybody. Well, you know, during wartime, dissent. It's not about dissent. Fool, you're talking to people that we're at war with, that we have sanctions with. They're an adversary to the United States of America, and they want to kill us, and we end up going to war with them, and you were talking to leaders and people in the country before we went to war, Tucker. You're not gaslighting smart people. If I was somehow talking to, I don't know, talking to somebody in Afghanistan, leadership, I've interviewed the president. And then I'm talking to them before the war instigated. Of course, the government is going to check and make sure that I'm not doing nothing nefarious, especially Tucker Carlson, who's a traitor to America. He hates America. He does. Roll it.
Fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now too. Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom were threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows.
Spying on Americans. It's funny that they make it out to be a pejorative or something that's. Sometimes Americans get radicalized. Just like the nut jobs that we've seen in the last several days that are killing people in the name of Allah Akbar. At some point, if Americans are doing suspicious communications with people or they're being radicalized by Islamic terrorists, I think it's fair to say maybe we do need to monitor them. I'm telling you guys this. The only reason why we haven't just gotten taken over and terrorist attacks are happening every single day in this country is because our intelligence agencies are monitoring and intercepting people who want to kill us. And that's including American citizens who are radicalized. Roll the clip.
But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand. And it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA or people within CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge, sprawling, disconnected agency. What it does in a specific case doesn't represent what everybody in the building thinks, but there are some people who are mad at me for my views about Israel. And they have some latitude. And one of the reasons they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify warrants for spying on Americans. So that is an absolutely real thing. But the main reason they do it is to leak the existence of the investigation, such as it is, to the media, and then humiliate and terrify the subjects of this op. And that's, of course, happened to me repeatedly, many times. Including in famously 2021 when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin. And the NSA, I heard from someone there, had grabbed my text messages with an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to the New York Times in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way. And they admitted that they were spying on me. This is not a fantasy. It actually happened. They did it again 2 years later. My second attempt to get a Putin interview, I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's pretty clear something's going on. None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is a huge threat to me. So I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies.
All right. I'm tired of this guy. He's just talking out his rear end. I mean, I don't think that the government should be unjustifiably monitoring people's communications. But if you ain't doing nothing wrong in your communications, what are they leaking? If they're going to leak something, like for instance, they leaked that he was bashing Donald Trump, saying that he hates Donald Trump. Like that's a pretty significant thing when you're on television every day saying you love Trump and you're saying all these things, but then on your personal text message, you're saying you hate Donald Trump. I'm not saying it's right that they leaked this information, but what I'm saying is that was pretty revealing. I wonder what they know about him talking to these foreign governments, which he know the only thing that he could be even contested for is the Federal Agent Registration Act, which means that you're working on behalf of a foreign government, lobbying, influencing policy, or spreading messages for a foreign government, or receiving money or directions from a foreign government. He know that that's what they're looking into, and that's a criminal case. But if you're not registered as FARA, that's not really significant enough to put you in prison. It's just a technicality. All right, I want to go to Ted Cruz real quick associated with this. There was another young dude that I wanted to play his clip, but it's more of like a sentiment of how I feel. Let's play Ted Cruz clip because I think Ted Cruz hit the nail on the head when it comes to Tucker. Because Tucker and others like him, it all starts from hating Israel, and they just lose their minds. Roll the clip.
It's not just that every podcast he has, he's attacking Israel, he's attacking Jews. Jews are the source of everything wrong. Every problem we have in America came from the Jews, according to him. It's not just that. Look, anti-Semitism is a gateway to anti-capitalism and anti-Americanism. And so Tucker is also, he interviewed the president of Iran. And it was a softball interview. He asked him no hard questions. This is the same president of Iran actively trying to murder Donald Trump. Tucker didn't ask him about that. Tucker has praised Nicolas Maduro, the communist dictator of Venezuela, who we just arrested. He's praised Comrade Mondami, the communist and Islamist mayor in New York, Tucker has said he thinks we should apologize to the family of Osama bin Laden. I don't think we should apologize. Osama bin Laden murdered nearly 3,000 Americans on 9/11. I am very glad the military took him out. That's the military's job, to protect our nation. Tucker has said he doesn't know that Hamas is a terrorist organization. He thinks they might just be a political movement. Right now, I'll tell you something amazing, David. The Iranian TV is playing Tucker's podcast in Iran. The Ayatollah and the mullahs have said, ooh, you need to listen to this guy. The Muslim Brotherhood is pushing Tucker's broadcasts out on social media. The Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. To be clear, Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. They've looked at what Tucker said and said, this is exactly what we believe. That is dangerous. And I got to say, part of the challenge is a lot of folks remember Tucker from when he was on Fox a few years ago. And he wasn't all crazy and out there. On Fox, he was terrific. I actually think during the COVID lockdowns, his monologues were the single best thing on television. I mean, they were destination TV. And so there's a little bit of a disconnect, and it's also interesting. There's a generational problem. People who are older, they remember Tucker from Fox, and they're like, oh, I like that guy. He had good things to say. They're not online hearing him attack President Trump every single day. And to be clear, Tucker Carlson is waging a war online against President Trump's foreign policy. Now, he's too much of a chicken to call Trump out by name, so instead he attacks me and Mike Huckabee, who are supporting President Trump's foreign policy. But Tucker doesn't have the courage to actually admit that it's Trump he's attacking.
I think we're done with that clip. But, you know, that's the thing about Tucker. It's like he's going out and he's bashing Donald Trump to crazy degrees. And when he used to love Donald Trump and kiss his butt every day, maybe he never loved Donald Trump. But then he goes out and literally calls Donald Trump a traitor every single day of the week. I don't understand that guy. Trump has done nothing wrong but do what he said he was going to do. Every president since Barack Obama has said Iran was the biggest threat. Barack Obama drew a line in the sand. Iran crossed the line in the sand and said, F you, you coward, and he capitulated. It's stupid to me. All right, let's get to the TSA shutdowns because this has been crazy too because I have to travel, and it's really making me upset because it's the Democrats that are doing this. And they're trying to create as much chaos as possible to make Donald Trump look bad before the midterms. They would really rather ruin the country to make Trump look bad than to try to work with the guy to make sure to hold him accountable to doing what's right for us so we all win. But before we get to that, I want to tell you guys about Synergy. Every day I drink my Synergy, the day supplement, and then also I drink at night to get good rest. If you want complete energy, you need Synergy. That is a formula for the daytime, 75 milligrams of caffeine. We don't over-caffeinate you because we don't want your cortisol levels to be up at night when you're trying to go to sleep. So a little bit of caffeine. If you want more, just drink 2. And then also at night, when it's time to calm down, it's time to relax your mind. Ashwagandha magnesium helps you relax and helps your body stimulate melatonin like it's supposed to. 1 milligram of melatonin, we don't over-melatonin you because we don't want you to wake up with migraines and headaches and then your body quit producing it. Most sleep supplements on the market have 5 to 10 milligrams of melatonin. That's 5 to 10 times what we use in the Synergy Night supplement. So if you're interested in complete energy, go to synergylife.com, synergylife.com. Hit the QR code. If you're watching this on television, you can freeze the screen and capture it, or you can go in the description section, put in synergylife.com, synergylife.com. All right, TSA, let's look at this first clip. The shutdowns in Austin are out of control. Roll it.
Currently in the Austin security line, and this is how long it is.
There's the airport, and here's the line.
You might as well drive.
Finally at the end, and here's the airport again.
Now, I'm going to play some Fox News clips, but why is this happening? Because Democrats are virtue signaling and don't want to fund ICE. And they don't want to fund the spending bill that's going to fund TSA and all these intricate This is what they're, in my opinion, what they want to do is cause something catastrophic and blame Trump. They want TSA lines to be crazy and out of control. They want TSA workers to quit and go look for other jobs and have a shortage. And therefore, things can get through to the airport, get on the airplane, and somebody could do something crazy there. And then when they do something crazy, they're going to blame Donald Trump for his involvement in shutting down. This is what they want to do. Bush got hit because 9/11 happened during Bush's administration, then we went to war. Bush took a hit on that. Of course, everybody loved him at first, and then he took a hit. They want Trump to take a hit on some terrorist activity, and then they can blame him and say, we need new leadership because his radical theology was causing terrorism. And it's like, no, y'all trying to block the protection measures that are put into place so something can happen and you can blame him. All right, wrote a clip from Fox News.
Last week, screening lines hours long, some of them snaking all the way out to parking garages or onto runways in some cases. TSA workers are walking off the job. You know, Chad Wolf, when you see this FlightWare map, and I don't know, we call it the misery map, you see it atop, it shows more than 4,000 delays, more than 3,000 cancellations already today. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy with this.
My hope is that Democrats will come to their senses, open up DHS, and then have a negotiation, have a conversation.
But they won't because they're evil. All right, next clip. Airline CEOs, 503.
Frustration is boiling over. The CEOs of major airline companies are now criticizing members of Congress for, as they say, once again making air travel a political football in another government shutdown. The heads of American, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, Alaska, United Airlines, among others, are calling for lawmakers to come together to find a solution. In an open letter, they write, Americans who live in your districts and home states are tired of long lines at airports, travel delays, and flight cancellations caused by shutdown after shutdown. Now it's up to you, Congress, to move forward on bipartisan proposals that will get federal aviation workers, including TSA officers, U.S. Customs clearance officers at airports, and air traffic controllers paid during shutdowns.
Now look at what they done to these people. TSA workers, I saw this on the news the other day. TSA workers are literally quitting. They have to get second jobs. They got food lines for people to donate to feed these people. You know how mother freaking crazy that is. You know how pissed I am about this? And one reason is because I pay taxes. I just paid a crazy amount of taxes just right now. Over 6 figures. And what are they doing with your money? Playing. That's why I think people should all of us should just not pay taxes and see what happens. They just blowing your money. And these people, you not only already they took your taxes to pay these people, they're deciding they ain't gonna pay them, and then they asking people to donate to help them get. I already donated with the taxes I gave. I can't stand these people. Oh Lord Jesus, help us all. All right, roll the clip. Look at the food lines.
On the facts, the Senate failed to advance that Homeland Security funding for the 4th time yesterday. We have airline CEOs faulting Congress for not paying TSA agents. I've got video of TSA workers on food lines because they just missed their second paycheck, half paycheck last time, full paycheck this Friday. Why can't your leaders break this deadlock?
Margaret, I think we should. And what we have offered is let's pay TSA. Let's pay FEMA. Let's pay the National Guard, or I'm sorry, the Coast Guard. Let's pay CISA. I'd even say let's pay Customs and Border Patrol. If we can't agree on ICE reforms, let's pay everybody else.
Oh, you sorry son of a gun. You sorry mother freaking fool. I can't believe they still think it makes sense to say we're not going to cover ICE. We're not going to pay for ICE. Because in one city, 2 people have died. One city. 2 people that fought, antagonized, tried to run over ICE agents. Nowhere else in the country. 50 states. ICE ain't had to kill nobody. They kill people in the same city, probably in the same block, because they stupid. And they were justified. And they want to shut the whole... These Democrats, they ain't going to make heaven like this. Roll the clip. Cory Booker. Listen to this fool. This is the craziest clip out of the whole clip series. Roll it.
The growing concerns you even see amongst law enforcement about the security of our home, it's unacceptable to me.
So in terms of the security of our home, there have been a number of attacks. The ISIS-inspired bombing attempt in New York City outside Mamdani's house, a shooting target at an ROTC class at Old Dominion, and on and on and on. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security is still shut down because Senate Democrats are blocking the funding bill over the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Given the security concerns you just expressed, and given the fact that honestly, Secretary Noem has been fired, Tom Homan took over from Greg Bovino and Noem in Minnesota, you could argue Democrats won the debate. Isn't it time for Democrats to reopen and refund DHS?
So first of all, Democrats have tried multiple times to try to get TSA, CISA, the Coast Guard funded. Republicans have refused time and time again to fund.
Yeah, they want the whole agency funded.
They want the whole agency. ICE is still out there doing reckless things in communities. ICE is still arresting and detaining American citizens. ICE is still having unmasked people jumped out of unmarked cars, abducting people from the streets, barreling into homes. Even Americans, even veterans are being swept up in ICE's chaos. I will not approve another dollar for ICE, given all that they're doing. But we should be funding those TSA agents that keep us safe, CISA, Coast Guard, and for Republicans to refuse to do it is unacceptable.
So let's screw travel, the economy. Let's do all that because ICE have had some run-ins in one or two cities. 600,000 deportations. 600,000. You're talking about criminals and murderers and stuff all getting deported. All of that, they arrest 100 and something citizens or detain them. Like, that's a pretty reasonable ratio. Sometimes those things do happen. And it's not like me and you. It's somebody living with illegal aliens and all kind of other stuff that they involved in that get them caught up in this ICE raid stuff. It's not random people just sitting there minding their own business. It's people that got stuff going on. Or they involved with people that got stuff going on. And they get caught in the middle. And you want the whole country to suffer and people to be struggling to travel. You want potential terrorist activity to be exacerbated because you want to put your foot down about ICE because they killed 2 nut jobs in Minnesota. And you can't make this stuff up. The Oscars. Ladies and gentlemen, Oscars was crazy as 2 left shoes on an 8-legged man smoking crack in the back of the Cadillac with Cat in the Hat. That's how crazy these people are. But before we get to that, I want to tell you guys about Verdict. If you're looking for an incredible premium bourbon, Verdict is your answer. All right? You got to be 21 over and drink responsibly. I don't want nobody thinking they're going to be getting drunk drinking Verdict. Just have a little sip, man. It's fine sipping. It's not that stuff you take shots with. That's cheap stuff. You sip premium stuff. All right? And right now, if you want to go to, we're in a couple restaurants. Hopefully we get into a major grocery store, which is coming soon. I don't want to say it and sabotage it. But if you go to Belmont in North Scottsdale, you go to the Inns. Soon it'll be 53 Cask. When you go to some of these places in Scottsdale, you can order the Verdict on the menu. All right? So if you're interested, get you one now. They're in pre-order right now. I think that maybe in a few days they'll be shipped. I think they're already shipped. So people that had pre-order, your order will be shipped soon. You better get it now because we sold out in two and a half weeks, and we already halfway through our next iteration. So you better get it now. Best bourbon on the market. Guilty, not guilty. The not guilty has brown sugar in it, which is incredibly unique. All right. So let's get to the Oscars. You know that these people have to come in virtue signaling. That's why I don't watch it. I was going to say I watched it so you don't have to watch it. I still can't even watch it. It's a waste of my brain power. But I'm going to show you some highlights of it, and you can see how silly and ridiculous these people are. Roll the clip.
I should warn you, tonight could get political, okay? And if that makes you uncomfortable, there's an alternate Oscars being hosted by Kid Rock. Yeah. It's at the Dave & Buster's down the street. A lot of tickets for that. It's the first time since 2012. First time since 2012 that there are no British actors nominated for Best Actor or Best Actress. Yeah. British spokesperson said, yeah, well, at least we arrest our pedophiles. So we got that going for us.
I don't know where they're getting their jokes from. Here's a, I think this is a video, right? That girl that woman too good looking to be that stupid. Sometimes I think the better they look, the stupider they are. Like that woman, that's a beautiful woman right there. The other one that's next to her, I don't know about her, and you know exactly which ones I'm talking about too. That just tell you how objective this is. Why are you so stupid? You could use that beauty and brain power to do something positive for the world, but instead you stupid. We got a video of what she said, right? All right, roll the clip of what this woman said. Then you'll know why I'm feel this way. Roll it.
I want to ask you about the pin you're wearing, and you're wearing one too. Can you tell us about choosing to wear these pins today?
Yes, so this pin is a collaboration with an artist called Shepard Fairey. It's artists for ceasefire, and we're demanding a permanent ceasefire because there is no ceasefire right now. There are bombings happening.
Ceasefire. Listen to, I'm setting up for you. If you ain't heard nothing I said all day, listen to what she's about to say. She said a permanent ceasefire. Where, sis? Listen to where she say we need a permanent ceasefire. Roll the clip.
To this day, destruction, displacements all over the world. You know, in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Venezuela, and everywhere. And this is
happening in the U.S. ICE.
ICE as well, yes. So this is a demand for a permanent ceasefire.
Yes. Did you want to add to that?
Sorry?
Did you want to add anything about your pin?
Yeah, I want to add that you know we feel very very thrilled, almost very thrilled to be here because we missed something very important. The fourth actor, our lead male, Mu'taz Malhis, that he was banned from entering the USA and to attend the Oscars, and that's something that our celebration, it can't happen today fully because we miss him.
Yes. And it proved to you that what's happening in America, differentiating people than one another and making, you know, what's happening with ICE, Minneapolis, Gaza, everywhere, it's all connected. And we are all the same, we are all human, and hatred is a cancer. And people should open their hearts, and our governments should acknowledge the other and be accountable to their atrocities everywhere.
What the fudge are they talking about? What are you you know how stupid you got to be? Like, ma'am, do you not, what are y'all doing? You're talking about atrocities. Iran just killed like 50,000 of their own citizens. What the, if you gay, they throw you off a building or shoot you while you jump off the building. I seen the video. I don't know if these dudes were gay, but they were shooting them and they made them jump off a building. They shoot them and they jumped. I seen them throw gay dudes off the building with a bag on their head and throw them over the back. They going head first over the back of a building. What, like, where do we do that in America? You can, in Gaza, Hamas starves their own people. They steal aid from their people. Instead of spending billions of dollars on infrastructure, economy, and blessing their people, they build tunnels. And then they went to war with Israel and got a whole bunch of people killed because they stupid. And that's what this is what, in Venezuela, go live in Venezuela. Do you want to live in Venezuela? These people will never live in none of the places they're advocating for. It's only because the strength, determination, and the posturing of the United States of America that any of these places aren't doing more horrible things than they already are doing. Ma'am, these people are so stupid because they get in a list, right? They go, their PR person is like, hey, you want to be virtuous today? It'll look really good for you in PR. Let's go down the list. Oh, no, ICE not that big of a deal now. Let's go to Venezuela. No, that's not a big deal now. Let's go to Iran. Iran is not a big deal now. Let's go to trans kids. Like they go down a list and be like, what's hot? This hot. Okay, there's a pen for this. Go to this person, get the pen. They don't know what they talking about. These people rich. I ain't rich as these people. But to be honest, on a day-to-day basis, homelessness and all this stuff, I don't really deal with that. There ain't no homeless people where I live at. And if they out here doing something, I'm calling the police. And they gonna make them go, they gonna get them, they gonna take them to jail. There's no real theft and crime and all that stuff where I live at. So to be honest, I don't really experience it, but I'm smart enough to know that it happens. These people, they're so out of touch with reality that they're willing to just say anything. It's funny because when I was younger, I just think these people were smart. They're not, they're stupid. They're actually stupider than like the average person. They just so happen to be talented, and they got all these people, marketing agencies and stuff that put them on a pedestal. But these people are actually stupid and nonsensical. Look at Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to finish with Jimmy Kimmel, and then we're going to go to the post-show Clarity with Scott Jennings. So if you're watching this and you want to have an exclusive conversation with Scott Jennings with me, then you can join the membership. Or if you're already a member, make sure you get over there. Don't miss out. You don't want to miss out because I'm finna ask him some questions. Me and him was talking off camera. I got to see if he want to talk about it. But some of the stuff that we talk about is like, I'm sure you guys will want to hear this. I always, every time I see Scott, I'm like, what is it like being you, man? What do you think about the behind-the-scenes stuff that go on there? And we talk about it often. So hopefully we can talk about it at least a little bit in the post-show Clarity. So if you're interested, make sure you join. Don't miss out on this, all right? And shout out to everybody that joined. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It really makes me happy that we can go deeper than just the content we put out on a day-to-day basis. All right. Listen to Jimmy Kimmel with his sorry self, and then we're going to be done. Roll it.
As you know, there are some countries whose leaders don't support free speech. I'm not at liberty to say which. Let's just leave it at North Korea and CBS. Fortunately,
time out. Y'all know this is a political ploy, right? I'm going to be really quick. It's a political ploy. This fool had an opportunity to interview whoever he wanted to. There's guidelines to say if you interview one candidate during the campaign season, you have to interview the other candidates in fairness on television. But you can do whatever you want to do on your own podcast, which he went on television to cry about it just to do the interview that he always wanted to do on his podcast. That's standard for every network all around the country. He knew it. It's a propaganda stunt. If his lawyers told him he couldn't do an interview and he did it anyway, he'll lose his job, they'll get sued. It's all bullcrap. It's all virtue signaling. Roll the clip.
fortunately for all of us, there is an international community of filmmakers dedicated to telling the truth, oftentimes at great risk, to make films that teach us, that call out injustice, that inspire us to take action. And there are also documentaries where you walk around the White House trying on shoes. Here are the nominees for documentary short film.
Now, if they said that about Barack Obama's wife, you think that'd go well? If anybody at the Oscars made fun of Barack Obama's wife. Okay, that's what I thought. Last clip from Jimmy Kimmel. Roll it.
Are you exhausted?
Am I exhausted?
By the state of the world. And knowing every night you've got to say something.
You see me looking in my face and
no,
you're exhausted.
No, but I mean,
yes, I'm exhausted. Of course, it's ridiculous. We live in a ridiculous country. We always lived in a ridiculous country, but it was always ridiculous in a fun Mr. T kind of way.
Right.
Now we've got a different Mr. T. Yeah.
Mr. T. Wow, I didn't think of it as a Mr. T.
Well,
all right,
you
I'm
know
done
what?
listening to these cowards, man. These are a bunch of freaking wussies. They're a bunch of wusses. Estrogen levels are way too high in these fake men. They are wusses, dude. They'll get out in the street and piss their pants if they got into a conflict. I probably put my life on it they would. These dudes are so weak-minded weenies. I hate the way they act. I don't know them personally, so I can't hate them, and God said don't hate people. But I hate the way they act. These people, tell me we live in a ridiculous country. What country can you act and be billionaires or millionaires for most of them? What country can you tell weak jokes and still be on TV? What country can you cry about the country in front of the country? Like they on TV every day crying about how America's so bad. That's a privilege in and of itself. That tells you that America is great because you can complain about it without getting your head chopped off. And these people living in mansions, they fly in private jets, they eating caviar every night. They got personal trainers, they got personal chefs. They don't even touch you peasants. You peasants can't even look at them. You go out in public, you can't touch them. You can't look at them, you can't touch them, you can't even talk to them. They got security, bodyguards, and fences and gates. And they telling you you stupid for wanting to protect your community. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to have fun. Scott Jennings is going to be here in about 30 seconds. For those of you who want to join, you can join. For all the members that's already there, we got a couple thousand people already members. So just for y'all, I love y'all. I really appreciate y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's fun being able to connect with not just the random folk, but connect with people that really love the channel and want to go deeper with your boy B. Tatum. All right, y'all. Hold the phone. We'll be back with Scott Jennings.